I was struggling with video ideas once again because, let's be real here, I think it'd be very boring for everyone if they just saw a speed paint from me. My process seriously isn't that interesting, so I have to entertain in other ways. I think it legit took all of my brain cells to come up with something, but then I remembered in the back of my mind, I had a lot of muses that I've never drawn anything for. I don't know if this will be a mini-series later on, but we'll see. So welcome to me drawing muses I never draw. If you want to see more from me, make sure to hit the like and subscribe button. With that out of the way, I'll probably start explaining the process as well as give information about this muse. So, I mentioned earlier how I had a lot of muses that I've never drawn. I know what they look like in my head, but they don't have any illustrations, obviously. I always default to drawing my main four, but it's always nice to draw someone you don't normally draw. Out of all the muses I made over my 5 years of doing random stuff, I settled on a muse of mine named Moon. Okay, I had muses even before 5 years ago, but I'd say 5 years was when I started making actually decent muses, alright? So anyways, I will say that I struggled on coming up with the composition because I'm not good at that. I almost made a reference sheet for this video instead of an illustration, but let's just say I'm not gonna have any time to draw one since I take 6 billion years to make one. So illustration it is. This is a pretty short video, so I'll keep things brief about Moon. Despite his young age, he had actually become a pretty skilled government agent. He's actually the best in his department, and that was due to a lot of brutal training he had gone through in his life. I won't go into detail about it because it might get triggering, but just know it was really bad. I call him Human Terminator a lot because Moon is quite ruthless. Probably the best way to put it. People fear him. I mean, he's really skilled and takes shit from nobody, so that's to be expected. But I was kind of working on an arc for him where he starts to soften up a bit. So I guess a bit of a redemption arc. But yeah, that's some stuff on Moon. I kind of wish I drew him more since I think he has a very pretty face and I'm a sucker for that. His eyes especially are nice. I always like drawing those upturned, more fox-like or cat-like eyes, but I'm glad I can draw him now at least. Okay, so I was trying my best not to draw just a standard bust shot illustration because I feel like that's such a cop-out. So my idea was to draw him walking away from a mission or something since government agent things. Honestly, I could have tried more in the background, but I hate backgrounds. So naturally, I scribble stuff and then blur it out. Eventually I should do background studies though. I decided to draw a fire in the background because I guess badass blowing up a building moment or something. But honestly, it's kind of to hide my mistakes. I think I've said it before, if I make a mistake, I'll just hide it with fire. Probably shouldn't do that, but I gotta make things look good somehow. Fire is just my cover-up, or whatever it's called at this point. Okay, so we'll probably get to the flat colors eventually in this speed paint, so let me talk a bit more about Moon's color palette. He's one of those characters with borderline white hair, which automatically puts him at S tier with my characters. Okay, I'm joking, my muses can have whatever hair colors that fit them best. When I was making an image of Moon in my head those years ago, I thought about giving him white hair because he already has fox vibes going on. So, Arctic fox things or something like that. I made him pale, but not as pale as Jihoon. He's only slightly less pale. He's not going to beat the Arctic fox allegations, I can tell you guys that much. In this illustration, I could have drawn him in a normal outfit, I guess. But he's probably wearing his government uniform more often than not. Yes, it's a suit. Somehow that hits very differently on Moon, but if he wasn't wearing that suit, he's probably wearing all black and staying covered up. I forgot to draw it in this illustration and I'm too lazy to fix it, but he's supposed to have a couple of burns and injuries on his body due to his, past. I'll let you guys make with that information as you will. Obviously, Moon doesn't want to parade around his injuries, so he's wearing long sleeves, even if it's hot outside. You know, now looking at him, I'd say he kind of looks like a hybrid between Hye and Jihoon, which I find interesting and I can't tell if that's good or not. He has Jihoon's color palette since they're both pale characters with borderline white hair, and he has facial features. Well, I'd say it's a slightly more extreme version of Hye's features since his eyes aren't as upturned and extreme as that. Hopefully my muses don't suffer from same face syndrome. That'd be pretty bad. Okay, so I yapped a lot and now we're at the end of the video. I did some final rendering effects and then the illustration is done. So here's a better look at the final illustration. Thanks for listening to me ramble about this one character and I hope to see you in the next video.